Today's episode, we're talking about canopies. Do you really need the big fancy setups that we're constantly seeing on social media? Or can you fit out your canopy on a budget and live out of it comfortably? Today's episode, we're going to be finding out. Alright, so we're going to be talking about supplies. So most of which you can get from Bunnings. This is a high quality form ply. So you don't really want to cheap out on the wood. I know we're on a budget, but you don't want your canopy set up to sag. And same as if you spill anything, you don't want it to rot. So speaking of spills, carpet, use a marine carpet. You can get it in lengths at Bunnings, you can get it in a roll and they just cut it for you. Obviously, because it's used in boats, it's going to be the best with water resistance. So you're going to want to be using a marine carpet as well. You're also going to need screws, obviously, to screw everything together. We use spray glue to help with the carpet, and then staples with a staple gun. If you don't have a staple gun, they're cheap as. You can get them from Bunnings as well. I think I got mine for 15 bucks. I've done my whole canopy setup and the custom center console with the staple gun and haven't had an issue. The next thing you're going to also need is a good set of slides. So these you can also get from Bunnings, and they also have a pretty good warranty system. Lucas's last pair failed after a couple of trips, so he took them back and they just swapped them over, no questions asked. So that's a good tip as well. If you get the slides from Bunnings and anything goes wrong with them, you can just take the slides back to Bunnings, and in our experience they've swapped them over every time with no questions asked. So once you get all these supplies, you want to move on to the build. So build the car to your needs, what you're going to use the canopy for. So obviously a lot of people are tradies, so you might want to build it to incorporate your tools and stuff like that. I'm not. I push buttons on a camera, so I didn't need all that. So I literally just set up the canopy for camping. My canopy is also very small, so you got to be smart with where you place everything. Everything's kind of got to have a spot. You can't just throw it in there because you don't have the room to throw it in there. So as you've seen before though, I have built a drawer on slides. In here got all my cooking gear. I've even got a recovery bag in there at the moment. Got gas, got a cook plate, and then up top in here we put the cooker on, and then basically wanted to work around this. So we've got the shelf, so the cooker slides in there perfectly, and then the shelf on top. I've got dunny paper down there, firelighters, whatever. Through here though, there's like a little pantry. Obviously it's not a pull-out pantry or anything like that. But, you know, you can throw bags of chips, muesli bars, whatever you want down there. There's also a first aid kit which we keep in the canopy 24/7, so while we're out bush. Hopefully don't have to use it, but if something ever goes wrong, we've got that there. So definitely carry a first aid kit with you while you're out bush. So along with the drawer, I'll also have on top a shelf, which is great because it gives me about double the amount of the storage in the car. Got a toolbox up here currently. Also slide down table and chairs, all portable table and chairs. This piece right here is actually a pull-out table. So basically use this to cook all the food. So put the cooker and the gas bottle on here, which works really well. The other good thing is I put the awning on this side of the car. So when you slide the awning out, if it's pelting down rain or whatever, you can cook nice and dry. And then I've also got all the cutlery and this stuff on this side of the car. So you want to make your canopy basically as practical as possible. So that pretty much sums up this side of the canopy, so we'll take you over to the other side now. Alright, so now moving on to the power side of things. So I currently don't have my fridge in there because I don't need it, and we all know what a fridge looks like. I've left it out so I can really show you what we've got going on in here. So this is where things start to, well, can get really costly. But I've managed to keep mine on somewhat of a budget. So I'll start off talking about the battery side of things. So in here is a slim, I believe it's a 170 amp battery from Kings. AGM. Yes, it's AGM, and yes, it's Kings. I haven't actually had any issues with it, which is really good. It's been to Fraser, and when I went to Fraser, I didn't even have a solar panel connected to it 24/7, and it ran a fridge for the whole 3 weeks. I'd just plug in an external solar panel and throw it on my roof when we got to camp. Look, I probably will switch to lithium. I just couldn't justify it at the time of building the canopy because I was on a budget. You know, if you can't afford lithium, that's fine. I'm still running an AGM battery, and it is working fine. I can run my fridge, charge my cameras, charge my laptop, everything, and I haven't had any issues with it. Pretty much the biggest disadvantage for me at the moment is just the weight. This thing weighs a ton. Lithium weighs like half the amount. The other thing is I do want to run some more accessories. So the AGM battery probably won't be able to keep up. So lithium may be the go in the future, but for now, the AGM battery is working fine. So then wired straight from the battery is my inverter. So that's able to keep up with charging my computer. I need to charge the cameras, phones, drones, GoPros, all that, and it does it absolutely fine. Even on the AGM battery, the inverter is working an absolute treat. So it's a kick-ass inverter. I'd strongly recommend. I haven't had a single issue with it. My canopy's not insulated as well, so it gets pretty hot in here, and the inverter is able to handle it fine. So kick-ass inverter, I reckon, is definitely the way to go. Lucas has the King's one. He hasn't really had any issues with it, apart from the fact that it is just noisy while we're all sitting around at camp. You can tell when his inverter's on. This kick-ass one's silent. I cannot tell when it's on. So yeah, that's probably the only pro and con of the Kings versus the kick-ass one. Obviously we haven't used them for an extensive amount of time, but yeah, I'm running the kick-ass one and I haven't had an issue. So on the roof of this canopy, powering my 12 volt setup, is a slim solar panel from Kick-Ass. That's worked absolutely great. It comes with a mounting kit and everything. It's super easy to install. I just riveted mine to the canopy. It does come with nuts and bolts, but I just riveted it. And it's worked fine. Then drilled a hole in the canopy, fed the wires through, and then straight into a solar controller here. So speaking of solar controllers, I originally had one of those cheap ones, which was pretty useless. It was making my solar panel useless, essentially. So you want a big solar controller that can handle the volts coming from your solar panel, and then feed them into charging the battery. If you've got a really cheap solar controller, it won't grab all the volts that are coming off your solar panel and charge your battery. So I was having charging issues and all that, and then I went to Kick-Ass again and bought their solar controller. It came with an external screen, so like as you can see now, I'm on 14.4 volt, which is absolutely great. So yeah, this handles everything the way I need it to. It tells you everything you need to know. You can also connect your phone, which, yes, sounds a bit dumb, but I actually use it more than I thought. So with the inverter, and I want to work on the other side of the car when it's raining, I'll run an extension lead from the inverter to the other side of the car. And if you're like me, and keep overthinking about how much draw you're using, just to be able to sit there and go, oh yeah, I'm still on, 12.8 volts or whatever, there's no need to unplug anything, kind of gives you a little bit of peace of mind. You don't have to keep getting up and, originally I'd be working for 15 minutes, standing up, walking around the other side of the car and checking how many volts I got, which was, just becoming a bit of a pain in the ass. So to have it on your phone, just go, yep, I'm all sweet, is actually handy. I didn't think I'd use the app as much as I do, but comes in really handy. Now in here as well is a King's control box. So this is where you'd wire all your accessories to. I don't really have any accessories at the moment. The only accessory I have is those lights. I plug my fridge in via the 12 volt socket in here, and then it also has another Anderson plug, which I can connect my pie oven straight into the box, and that'll power my pie oven when needed. But I don't use that too much just because of how much it draws. If it's a sunny day during the middle of the day and I can use an external solar panel and whatnot, I'll run that fine. I haven't got my 12 volt system hooked up to my car. If I had it hooked up to my car, I'd probably just turn it on while I drive. So, you chuck pies in it in the morning, go wheeling all day, and then lunch is sorted. But I haven't done that yet, so we'll need to do that shortly. And another really good thing that you like is an absolute must at camp, which I didn't have originally, and I wish I did, is lights. Even these are on a budget. I think girlfriend picked these up from Kmart on her way home from work. They were $15. Originally they come with like a 12 volt socket, which I just had plugged in there, but that was starting to give me the shit. So I wired it straight onto one of these switches. You can change all the colors. It's got a remote here, so you got your amber, your white, and then it's got the party mode for when you listen to music and whatnot. So yeah, these are great, and only $15, so you don't have to buy the big fancy strip ones for 120 or whatever they are. So Kmart will get you out of trouble and keep your camp lit. So the other thing is, what I have isn't actually essential to run a fridge. Some of you might even want to go lower scale than what I've got. So what you can do, if you don't want to run a constant solar panel, you get one of these. So it's a solar blanket, comes with a solar controller. And this is basically the setup I ran when I did Fraser Island, and it works fine. I can charge my phone off the solar controller, so if all you need to charge is a phone or a portable charger or whatnot, that works fine. So you just get to camp, throw it out, charge the battery. I ran that at Fraser for 3 weeks and didn't really have any issues. But yeah, now that I'm lazy, I just want constant power going into the battery. It's probably also a bit healthier for the battery. But yeah, if you just want to run the solar blanket, you definitely can. I've done it before. I still have the solar blanket because it's really good when we get to a camp and I want to park my car in the shade because I don't want to cook it. You chase the sun with this. So it's a 200 watt solar panel, so you just go around to where it's sunny. It just means you don't have to park your car in the sun, and it also gives you a little bit extra charge if you're not driving or going anywhere for a couple of days. Then you got extra charge going into your car, which really helps. Okay, well obviously this is a fairly budget canopy setup, so hopefully this gave you a little bit of an idea on what to do with your current canopy setup, or if you're going to be building a new one soon. If you have any questions for us, leave it in the comments. And yeah, as always, thanks for watching.